I think we have a very good story to tell, a story that goes to the heart, and we've been around for 20 years. I think that's a good indication that we're going to be here for a long time.
We did a research study 2008 with the Community Council. They reckoned there was something in the neighborhood of 200 to 250 at-risk youth in Victoria alone. That's just the core area. It's an invisible population because we're so used to identifying the homeless population with adults.
If you take a look at the stats nationally at this segment of our population, Victoria is number 1 and Saanich is number 2.
The studies show that the poverty rate in Victoria is high. It's high above the national average, but it's exceptionally high. It's 22 points higher than the adult poverty rate.
And the thing that pulls at my heart, what were we doing when we were 16 and 17? Because most of the people in our homes are 16 and 17.
Victoria is swamped with at-risk youth in the streets. We don't see them because at that age there is an incredible identity crisis with youth. Some of them are still in school, they don't want to be identified as being homeless, so they're couch surfing, they're living in RVs, they're living in people's basements, they're living under bushes under the Blue Bridge, as well as trying to keep up a facade of looking normal to their friends, to their peer group, so on and so forth. And they tend to find places to live, but not good places to live, especially young women who tend to find inappropriate relationships with older men, so on and so forth. So we're running into these problems all the time and trying to disassociate them from an old lifestyle. And that's the point of transitional housing. Not everyone's going to come from a happy family. So there has to be someone there to catch them. That's what our job is.
Threshold Housing has 2 homes in Victoria, one for girls, one for boys, and we help youth at risk.
Threshold Housing is geared towards helping youth who are at the risk of homelessness.
Given the fact they're going through a growth spurt in adolescence, their mind isn't developed, they're not making healthy decisions. It's been shown over and over again, the one thing that helps them to get through this period is stable housing.
It gives stability and it's a safe place.
And they're kids that could come from your neighborhood, could be coming through a foster home, and they just kind of want to have a place where they can look at what they're doing, how they're doing it, and then move on in society.
If you have a roof over your head, you have food, the basic necessities, and you have that support, that person is going to walk out the door confident about themselves and most likely you're going to be successful.
We like to see that they're either going to school with a part-time job or have a job and maybe with a future to look at going back to school.
I've seen youth come here and, at first they have a big group of friends with them and eventually they learn, I don't want to bring my friends home because I just want to have home.
Well, they always get the sense that it's not a party house. I mean, there's zero tolerance for substance in the house, and the guys really, actually, I must say, are respectful of that.
They have cleaning chores, house chores, laundry, that type of thing.
People might think youth transitional housing or sort of they think of a group home image, and something comes to mind that I think is very different than what they actually see when they get here. So it's nice to kind of break some of those perceptions.
We don't have 24-hour supervision, but we do have 3 o'clock till midnight. So it's not a flop house by any stretch of the imagination.
This is a place where you come and learn how to live on your own.
We like to consider ourselves a model youth house. Like, this is the way it can be if we have the right type of environment and the right attitudes. Since we've moved to this house, we've had very, very good relationships with our neighbors. There's an awareness that we're here and there's a real interest in supporting us, so it's just been as good as I could ever hope. They were actually quite pleased to hear that we were coming in and also grateful that we reached out to them when we first started. We had a neighbor come by and donate a barbecue to us. We had a woman who brings all the ingredients for spaghetti. People have listened and understood and responded very positively, so we're very happy about it. I would welcome in anyone that was, wanting to see what it's like and meet me or another staff person and maybe even meet a couple of the guys. We want to have a kind of an open house policy in that way. If you're wondering what it's about, just stop in and have a chat with us and see what it's like inside.
I hold a space for women to come and feel safe. It's really a space where they can leave the downtown core, or they can leave their group of friends and peer pressure or their abusive boyfriend. It's really nice to see them relax, and eventually they peel away all these layers of themselves that they're just masks, trying to protect a deeper part. So many of them come here and they're brilliant, and they have such potential, and all of their focus is on the boyfriend. He's going to get a job one day and he's going to support the family.
And I will say this, and it burns me to say it, too many girls figure the boyfriends will take care of them.
It's not serving the girls to think like that, and so I'm really wanting to direct them into a new vision.
And that's what this house is all about. You figure it out. We'll guide you, we'll be there to support you, but you figure it out.
To my knowledge of the youth that I have been involved with going on 2.5 years here, all of them have gone on to basically take another step up rather than slip back, which is really heartening. We've had a lot of good success. We have had a youth go on he was really wanting to train as a chef and has gone on to a good job at the Empress.
And one we paid for a 2-year scholarship at Camosun for a plumbing program.
The fellow that was literally living on the street, he's now finished his high school diploma. Again, the key thing, he had stable housing to come home to.
We had the youth doing his business administration, came from nothing and really needed the stability and to get a little bit of footing here.
Again, that's what we'd like to see.
And it's fun for us, and I think we're starting to do it more, is to celebrate as to our achievements.
Threshold Housing has been operating for 20 years in Victoria.
It was started by a small group of individuals who saw a need in the community.
And in those 20 years, we've helped over 200 youth.
We are only just starting to touch the surface of advertising who we are, getting our name out there more. I would like to see us move out to Langford with a house out there, and then eventually maybe even to Nanaimo or Duncan.
I know that this model does work because we have been around for 20 years. And we would like to take this model right across Canada.
At the moment, it's costing somewhere in the neighborhood of $23,000 for keeping a homeless youth on the street.
I know that it costs $5,700 to house a youth in our home and to help with their food for a whole year.
And there's only 16 beds available in all of Victoria for transitional housing.
We got new funding a couple of years ago from the Ministry of Children and Family Development. So I think that was a significant milestone for us in recognizing that, hey, we are making a difference.
We've been operating at a deficit now for 3 years. Right now we're looking at raising funds because we can't continue that way.
Most of us are out there saying, as other organizations, we need money more than ever.
Give a youth an opportunity that your kids may have, but these kids have never had. So you're giving them the opportunity to turn their lives around and make something of themselves.
They are an investment in the future of the society. They will go on to be good tradespeople, perhaps doctors, perhaps caregivers in their own right.
So you're saving a life is what the possibility of what you're doing.
I didn't ever know that I'd be working with, youth at the risk of homelessness or risk of going to prison or any of these kinds of things. And it feels so right.
Probably the most rewarding work that I've done, really, in my life.
We have a quilt for every youth who leaves us. And these quilts are made by a board member's wife and her quilting group. Every stitch represents love and hope for their future.
Some of them get off the street and turn their lives around. That's why you invest in Threshold Housing Society.